So the deadlift. I used to not really do the deadlift, but now that we have the X3, the deadlift's one of the most important movements I do. The deadlift itself works all your muscles from the nape of your neck clear to your Achilles tendon. And the amount of stabilization that's in it it's incredible. The hormonal output doing a deadlift is really high. And you're using all those muscles together in the whole backside of your body. I wait until I'm at the end of my back workout and do it at the end. And whatever is the weakest is then going to have to come up, because that'll be the weak link in the chain, right? So if I'm weak in the lats, that's what's going to usually fail first, and it'll be priority for the body to bring up. So our body does it on a survival level. Whenever we fail doing something, it's a survival response through hormones to get better for next time. Our body doesn't know we're doing this recreationally. But the problem with static load is in the beginning of a deadlift, we're in a position where we strain the hardest. And then as we get to the top and come back down, we can strain again. So with weights, again, we can go up to 30 reps and still hypertrophy. So I'm going to do a set here with the X3 and one with weights, and I'll show both here. But on to the program. One of the biggest problems with bands is people don't hook them to a bar, have a plate under them where they can put force between themselves. They're just pulling on bands. The second thing is they're using too long of bands. So there's not enough tension in the beginning. Sure, we want to match the strength curve and strain a little harder at the end than we are in the beginning. But when you don't tighten the band enough in the beginning, you don't have anything going on until you're like halfway up. I'll demonstrate with this band. This is a 41-inch band. I'm 5'9". So if I was to do this and put some tension in it, it isn't going to start till I'm above my knees. And then I'm just getting this. But if I come to here, there's so much slack in it, I'm completely cutting the tension off to the muscle and allowing blood to flow through it. I'm not really going to get much done other than some general, literally some very general strengthening and some mobility maybe. So this is a 41-inch band. This is your standard band length. I use a 32-inch band. I bought this at the Serious Steel, and everybody's probably seen me use the larger bands. When I'm using the Elite band with the X3, with my height, that probably goes up to about 500 pounds at the top, but I don't really have any tension till I'm here, so I'm like doing a rack pull, okay? The beauty of bands is you can start in the beginning without straining, so I can come down further. When I use weight, I'll show you I do a rack pull. With this band, this is advertised, I think it goes from 40 to 80 pounds. Bands, they actually start at about 1 pound. And as you pull into a little bit, then it starts. So the 40 to 80 is not true. You can pull into the band 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pounds in the beginning. But if the band's too long, that won't start till you're too high. With this 32-inch band, it starts getting tight down by my ankles. And by the time I get mid-shin, I got about 60 pounds on that sucker. And when I get to the top, it's actually maxed out. And I can pull about 200 pounds of tension out of this little band. And it goes from 200 down to about 60 pounds. I can get that full range of motion, cut the blood flow off to that muscle. And at the top where the band like maxes out and comes to a dead stop, my muscles contracting really hard. And when I get to the top, my pelvic bone stands up and everything starts to correct itself. This movement alone with the X3 is about 60% of what's helped me get out of the body issues that I have. And I try to tell guys, get a goddamn X3 and do deadlifts with it. It will help you tremendously. And they ignorantly ignore me. I know what I'm talking about. So what I'm going to do here is just like the row, I'm going to fail with the X3. Then I'm going to do a rack pull style in the Smith machine just to do the negatives. But I'm going to start a little higher. The bar will be about here, so I'm not overstraining in the bottom. And I'm going to do 4-second negatives just to hold that load. Keep my form perfect, and then come up and do it again. But I'm not going to do it till I've failed with the bands, where I have contracted as hard as I can at the top, pulled all the muscles where they should be, reached a point of hypoxia. And then when I go use the weights, my muscles and ligaments are all hot and full of blood, and my muscles are seated where they should be, and I'm not going to hurt myself, okay? So being I've been talking, I'm probably not going to have enough oxygen here to do enough reps. So, but I'm going to do what I can. I start down here, get like this, bam, see how my back is straight? I'm going to come up, that bar scrapes my legs all the way up, and I'm pulling my shoulders back at the top, but I'm not doing this, okay? I'm straight up, shoulders are back, and then I slowly just let that bar, and I bend my knees as I need to, that bar is scraping all the way down, and then back up again. This movement brings all those muscles together. It amazes you with this 32-inch band how much tension's at the top. All right, so the deadlift with some weight. You can see with the X3, I got the full range of motion, reached hypoxia. I didn't strain anything. I actually, at the same time, was healing some body issues, and I was stabilizing. The whole time you're doing it, you're stabilizing hard. I'm going to go back in with a weight, and the main focus, again, is to finish the muscle out and just do the negatives. I have the bar set so it's like 3 inches under my kneecap. So I'm not going to start in a compromised position where I can hurt myself. I have the stop set there, so I literally cannot go further than that. There's a little bit of spring there, so as it gets harder, I can actually touch it and get just a little bit of spring to get back up to the top again. As time goes on here, guys will see I'm going to keep using this weight. I'm going to get up to the 25-30 rep mark before I add any weight to this movement, because at that I can still hypertrophy the muscle. And what's the use? I'm not going to injure myself and screw my ability to put on more muscle. Injuries set us back more than anything. Not only are you not gaining, you're losing muscle. The old slow and steady wins the race is a lesson I learned the hard way. So that's why I'm trying to stress that to everybody. My feet are planted. I got no weight in my toes. The weight's in my heel, the outside of my foot, and the ball of my foot right here. I'm actually externally rotating the legs a little bit. And as I come up, I keep it like that. So my hips stand up and my glutes squeeze together. I come to the top. I'm not going to round. A lot of guys, when they first pull, their knees will come in like this. That pulls the hip around, it'll round their back, and then they use the back down here in the beginning of the movement and strain it. That's where deadlifts will screw you up. I see a lot of longer-legged guys do that, and they pull their external rotations weak, they don't use it, and you'll see their knees come in, and everything rounds, and then they strain. I can't tell you how many guys I've tried to help over the years that have completely screwed themselves with this movement. So, now that I'm hot and full of blood, and it's at the end of the workout, I'm going to get as much as I can out of 135 pounds. So right here, I'm going to bring my knees out. The knees come out to the forearm. Shoulders are back from the start. I come up, down for 4 seconds. Touch. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. My goal the next workout is to be one more rep. I'll keep going with that. By the time a couple months go by, I'll be going up in load and I'll have more muscle. It's easy as that.